Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, we've got an organization that gave some guidelines to the cruise ships to start sailing in Europe, and some of them are going to make people happy and some are going to make people a little bit upset. So first off, I just want to go over a few of the top lists. The page that the EU put out for cruise ship guidance is 49 pages long and it covers a lot of things. So over the next couple weeks, I'll dive into each little category a lot deeper, but today I want to give you an overview of some of the things you can expect. Some of the things are very common sense. They are saying that when you're on the cruise ship, you should be able to be social distance as much as possible. So things like the buffet areas, they're saying you shouldn't have buffets. You should, unless you have servers there handing out the food, you should have plexiglass. You should have people wearing masks who are serving the food. In your dining locations, they should be more dining times and more spread out, so there are less people dining all at one time. That'll be a little harder to do when you think about, most people eat at a certain time of day, right around noon, in the morning for breakfast, at lunch between 5 and 7. There's not a whole lot of give there for them to fit everybody in unless they come up with some more dining options on the ships themselves. Another big thing, though, that they did come out that had a lot of people, that will get some people upset, is the conversation around face masks. They are saying in indoor places, so like embarkation, when you're walking around the corridor, when you're getting ready to get in and off the ship, you should wear a face mask when you're in close contact with other people and can't social distance properly from them. Same thing goes for elevators. They say you should try and avoid elevators as much as possible. But of course, if you're in a stroller, you're carrying your stroller with your kids, you have wheelchairs, you're mobile, you have a hard time walking up and down stairs. Walking up 18 flights of stairs from a performance in the theater up to your top level balcony cabin is not something that everybody can do. But they're saying if you do go into an elevator, you should be wearing a mask at that point. Now, do you have to wear a mask the whole time? The recommendations right now are for inside spaces only, and especially those places you can't social distance. So as of right now, in your cabin, you'd be fine. On your balcony, you're fine. Even on the top decks, in the pool decks, in the open-aired spaces, they're not saying that you should be wearing a mask in those locations. As we all know, recently it's come out saying that outdoor spaces is a lot harder to spread anything than an indoor space. So the more things you can do outside, the better, and that's going to go for a lot of entertainment. The more things you can do outside for entertainment on the cruise ship, the better off you will be. Again, a lot of ships are not designed with a huge amount of deck space out there. A lot of them have put, go-karts and laser tag and things like that all up on the top decks, or luxury suites with 360-degree balconies that you just don't have the space up there that you used to on some ships. Now, some ships are kind of really perfect for them. Ships like the Royal Princess has huge amount of open deck space up top. So you can easily spread out on that ship, especially if they follow the other recommendations of less passengers on board, at least at the beginning when we're ramping up. A lot of concerns going out right now about how many people are going to be put onto a cruise ship and everything. And right now the airlines are going going in the opposite directions. The airlines are actually, for a long time, we're saying, the middle seat on a 3-person seat, unless you're in the group, they're not going to sell that middle seat. They're going to separate everybody. Well, now as of as of July 1st, many of the airlines out there are now selling that seat because they're starting to get more people traveling. Some states are opening up where you can travel back and forth from different states. In Canada, provinces are starting to open up where you can travel back and forth from different provinces. And now the EU has opened it up to a lot of places. Unfortunately, right now, not the United States, not Russia, not Brazil, places that have had the huge outbreaks right now. Hopefully when things get better and lower, then they will change their minds on that situation. But you got to understand, if you're having 50-some thousand cases a day, a country with 310 cases a day or less is not going to want tourists from that area until they're sure everything's under control. So some other guidelines that they're saying out there, that's the face mask situation, and it's still unclear. These are, remember, recommended guidelines. They are not set in stone yet. But one of the best things that I saw, that I read through this whole thing, was that they have to have written plans in case something happens on the ship as far as the virus is concerned. They have to be able to quarantine 5% of the ship. In other words, they have to have empty space enough that they could put 5% of the people into that location if something happens. 5% of how, including crew, how many people are on that ship. They have to notify the authorities immediately, and they have to have plans for evacuation of those people to a land-based facility. They have to be able to quarantine people off the ship. They will not be allowed to quarantine people for a long period of time on the cruise ships. So that is a big change, and that is all covered under the cost of the cruise line. That's not a passenger cost. So if you end up the worst case scenario happens, you're on a cruise and you come down with COVID-19 and they isolate you, the bill is on the cruise line, and they will also repatriate you back home when it's safe to do so. So that is and that's actually in writing. You have to have that plan that will kick in. So that's a really good thing. There's no more of this, well, what happens, or it's at the discretion of the cruise ship or the cruise line or the captain. No. It's the guidance, it's the plan. This is what happens if this is found, and immediately the action will kick in. So that is terrific news as far as the worry about what happens if something does happen on the ship. Am I stuck on a ship? Am I going to be at land? Most people feel much more comfortable being isolated on land than they would floating out in the middle of the ocean. So I will give them a heads up on that one. I like that. That is a great plan in place. Some of the other things out there that a lot of people were worried about is the 65 and older or underlying health conditions, and you will need a medical note to travel. And that's not what they're saying in this recommendation. What they're saying is that if you are 65 and older, or you do have underlying health conditions, that you should see a doctor and make sure that you're okay for traveling. They're not requiring you to bring proof or medical notes, at least as of this writing anyway. So it's just a recommendation that if you like myself, about 30 days ago, I had lung cancer surgery, so I would be at a high risk if I was to travel amongst the possibility of catching this. So they recommend to me that I should make sure I get clearance from my doctor beforehand. I don't need a note. I don't need permission. I don't need to sign something. This is all they're saying. We recommend you do it. And as far as I'm concerned, that's safe advice for anybody out there who does have health issues or has any kind of thoughts that, I'm not feeling the greatest right now as far as, my diabetes or my lung capacity right now. Anything like that, make sure that you're checking yourself out with your doctor saying, yeah, you know what, you can travel, but you should keep an eye on this. You should watch out for doing these kind of strenuous activities while you're on the ship. Those sort of things are always recommended no matter what. So really, in all these guidelines that I'm seeing, there's not a whole lot of things that are drastically restrictive as far as enjoyment of the cruise ship is concerned. Things like embarkation times, maybe doing it outside instead of inside, not having cash on board. Everything is going to be, through your card. It's like a touchless system. the crews wearing a mask, not a problem for me. Your people handing you your food now in the buffet, not a problem for me. I don't like wearing a mask. I have been an avid person, but I don't live in a place that has an outbreak. Let's get that clear. In Ottawa, Ontario, we have 1 million people in Ottawa, and currently there are 3 people in hospital out of 1 million people. So do I think it's necessary that you should be wearing a face mask everywhere you go? No, because we've had 0 cases in days. We've had 0, fatalities. We've had, hardly anybody. And the only place it seems to outbreak is still in a couple senior citizens' homes. So do I think we should be forcing people in where I live, everybody to wear a mask? No, but you know what? We don't have 10,000 cases in my state or my province. So if that's the case in Ottawa, if all of a sudden we come up and we have 10,000 cases in Ottawa or Ontario in one day, then yeah, I can see them putting on a mask, and I will wear a mask because I'm socially responsible. I don't want to get other people sick for any reason. I don't think I will get it, but I don't want to give it to anybody else. But right now, with 3 out of 1 million people, to me that doesn't seem like a necessity yet. It doesn't seem like something we should be doing. But hey, I digress. I seem to be on the minority in that case. And as far as going on a cruise ship is concerned, if I don't have to wear it on the top deck, and I don't have to wear it, of course, in my cabin, I can order my room service if I want. I don't have to wear it at certain locations when I'm doing my shore excursions. I'll see. I'll see how I feel about doing it. A lot of it's going to depend on how they're going to roll out their entertainment and other items like that. But overall, it's going to be cleaning systems, ventilation systems, and social distancing. Not much other than what we see in our normal grocery stores every single day right now. So that doesn't seem like a whole lot, but at least it's in writing now. Here are the guidelines. And like I said, that medical emergency plan for what happens if something does happen and getting people off the ship, that is the most important one to me. That is the one that I like out of any other recommendation possible. So good job by the EU for that recommendation. Is there anything on here that really makes you upset? I know the face mask is a touchy subject. Like I said, I don't wear a face mask. I don't want to wear a face mask. I will if I'm forced to, because quite frankly, I can't afford an $800 fine every time I go do my groceries. So yeah, but I don't, it's a different situation depending on where you live. So if you're in Brazil right now, they just had 54,000 cases yesterday. I'd be wearing a mask every single place I went outdoors, or I would not be going outdoors. So yeah, would I wear it on a cruise ship? I haven't decided yet. I really haven't. And I love cruising. I live, breathe, and that is my entire reason for being right now. Is I love going on cruises. I love socializing with people. And if you're taking the socializing aspect away from it, I don't know if I'll join yet. I don't know if I'll be one of those people on the cruise ship. I might try one and then decide, no, it's not for me, or you know what, it's not that bad. Until we actually get those cruise ships out there, we don't know. But as far as the EU guidelines, I don't think there's anything that's surprising here. I don't think there's anything that's too restrictive here. I'm glad about the medical notes. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think these are some good guidelines? And I'm pretty sure the CDC is going to take a snapshot of this and pretty much come up with the exact same thing. And at least the cruise lines have something to go on. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.